You know, it never fails to shock me when the simpletons crawl out of the woodwork and start defending a game that hasn't even come out yet.
Oh, but Dylan, you're destroying a game that hasn't even come out yet.
You know, at this point, I can judge the game from what I've seen, and it all looks bad. I mean, literally everything. The shooting, the hit detection, down to the characters who, I've already stated this, but are the cringest, I mean the cringest characters surrounding you, the boss. No matter who you are, no matter what person you create, a stripper or Iron Man or something like that, just anything outside of the box, you're still surrounded by a bunch of cringe-worthy, nerdy-ass losers. They basically look like they're living in shambles, which I assume they are in this reboot of Saints Row, and realistically, they're not gangsters at all. I mean, there are no gangsters here. There are factions and squads of different people, but it's more like Crackdown. It feels more like superhero shit. I don't want to be playing with laser beams and a bunch of, you know, Fire Fist type crap. That's what killed Dead Rising. That's why Dead Rising 4 destroyed that entire franchise. Now this, people think it's rising again? That's hilarious. Go right ahead and think that. Consume the product. Anyway, you would, no matter what. So it doesn't matter. The reality is that Saints Row, the reboot, is indeed killing the franchise. One joke at a time, one lack thereof. Of jokes, that is. Even the name of the car mechanic has now changed because that's probably just too edgy and too deep of a joke for the generation that this was made for. Because it's not made for Saints Row original fans, certainly not. They said Saints Row the Third is the one to keep in mind when playing this or thinking about buying it. Well, guess what? That's the weaker of the Saints Row games. Not the weakest, just one of the weaker. Going downhill at that point. I think this needed a reboot, but this is the wrong reboot. I mean, we got the car, but the keys won't fit in the ignition, you know what I'm saying? It's like, at this point, what can you do besides ride this out? Next to come with Saints Row, I imagine it won't be Saints Row 2. I'm guessing we're just going down the road of probably maybe rebooting Agents of Mayhem, because that's what this feels like. And if they do that, it's really a sunk situation. But from the graphics to how the game plays, it looks like something from years ago, years and years ago. And even with the PC specs, it seems that this game can run on some pretty medium hardware. Honestly, I'm kind of shocked at the specs. It looks like it can run on some seriously low quality stuff. Now, I'm not looking for a game that's like Crysis. It can, you know, barely be run on anything. I don't need graphics that are photorealistic at every turn. It's like, the RE engine is beautiful, but what capabilities are there? Can you destroy any of that crap in the environment of Resident Evil Village? Very rarely, and it's all very obvious and sticks out in the environment. But with the engine they're on, let's be realistic. Saints Row should be far above what it is now. This is seeming to be a downgrade of what we got in the past, not only from a story perspective or characters, but the actual gameplay itself. They've taken out jokes, they've taken out weapons. I mean, look, I know people are supposed to be taking this a certain way. Probably the superhero generation is what it's made for. But I don't really like the idea of being in a world as dry as Cyberpunk, while actually being cleansed. You know, it's clean. It's way too clean. It's a cleanly experience that I would consider too non-adult. You know, Saints Row was pretty adult. If you watch the original opening cutscene for Saints Row, it's very violent. It's like, damn, a literal war broke out in the streets over some graffiti or something. And honestly, looking at what we have here, yeah, it's a new game. It's a open world to find things in and discover, probably some Easter eggs, but it looks like something I would have played on the PlayStation 3. These graphics are bad, and I'm not here to say I need photorealistic, like I said. But look at where we're at. If you're paying full price, $60 for a game in 2022, it better look like it's made in 2022. Or at least a few years before, you know what I'm saying? How many years was this game developed again? I won't bother with that. But let's get down to the brass tacks. Should you pre-order Saints Row? No. And I'll give you one solid reason why not. Because I'll be playing it on this channel to cringe along with all the community and all the viewers, because this game is not worth buying. But if we want to gather around and get the popcorn out, we can laugh at it together, because it is cringeworthy and I cannot complete it alone. So once again, folks, I appreciate you stopping by. Make sure you hit the like, the subscribe, and make sure you hit the bell, because they don't like sending out notifications to my people. And you know how that feels. So sad. But until next time, ta-ta.
That's a blowjob they'll never forget. Au revoir, sluts.